In 1693, Amsterdam was the richest city on earth. Ships arrived daily loaded with gold, spices, and secrets. But behind its shining canals was a city full of crime, disease, and dangerous ambition. This is Amsterdam, 1693. In the year 1693, Amsterdam stood at the center of the world. No other city moved more money, no port handled more ships, and no streets carried more ambition than this one. From the outside, it looked like a masterpiece. Wide canals reflecting tall merchant houses, bridges lined with lanterns, and ships from every corner of the globe crowding its harbor. But beneath the beauty and wealth, Amsterdam was a city of tension, secrets, and silent danger. This was the Dutch Golden Age, and Amsterdam was its crown jewel. Every morning, the city awoke to the sound of water. Canals served as roads, sewers, and lifelines all at once. Barges crept silently past houses built so close together that neighbors could hear each other breathe. Above the water rose narrow buildings with steep staircases and hoisting beams at the top, used to lift spices, silk, and sugar directly into upper floors. Wealth here was not hidden, it was stacked floor by floor. The heart of this prosperity was trade. Ships of the Dutch East India Company arrived from Asia carrying pepper, nutmeg, cloves, porcelain, and tea. From the Americas came sugar and tobacco. From the Baltic came timber and grain. Amsterdam's stock exchange, already operating for nearly a century, allowed merchants to buy and sell cargo they had never even seen. Paper promises created real fortunes, and sometimes destroyed them just as quickly. By 1693, Amsterdam had become a global financial machine. Bankers, traders, and insurers worked in candle-lit rooms, calculating risks while wars raged elsewhere in Europe. The city itself was neutral, practical, and ruthless in business. Profit mattered more than kings or religion. Yet not everyone shared in this wealth. Just a few streets away from the Grand Canal houses lived laborers, sailors, widows, and orphans. Dock workers unloaded ships until their backs broke. Sailors spent months at sea only to lose their pay in taverns within days. Alcohol flowed freely, and so did desperation. Crime was common, especially at night when fog rolled in from the water and lanterns cast long, trembling shadows. Pickpockets worked crowded markets. Smugglers moved goods to avoid taxes. Forged documents passed quietly between hands. While Amsterdam prided itself on order, it was also a city where clever criminals could disappear into the maze of canals and alleys. Religion added another layer of complexity. Officially Protestant, Amsterdam quietly tolerated Catholics, Jews, and other minorities. In 1693, hidden churches operated inside ordinary houses, invisible from the street. Jewish communities, many fleeing persecution elsewhere, found relative safety here, though never full equality. This tolerance made Amsterdam attractive, but also fragile. Differences were managed carefully, like balancing a ship in rough waters. The city's architecture reflected its mindset: practical, controlled, and purposeful. Streets were planned, canals measured, buildings regulated. Fire was a constant fear, so rules limited wooden construction. Cleanliness was enforced, not for comfort, but to protect trade. Disease could close a port, and a closed port meant lost money. Still, disease came. Plague outbreaks had faded by the late 1600s, but fear remained. Doctors debated causes they barely understood. The sick were isolated, the poor suffered most, and death remained an accepted companion of daily life. At night, Amsterdam transformed. The wealthy retreated behind heavy doors, their homes warmed by fireplaces and lit by candles reflecting off polished wood and paintings. Meanwhile, the streets belonged to taverns, gamblers, prostitutes, and patrol guards. The city was known across Europe for its relative freedom, and visitors often found that freedom intoxicating and dangerous. Prostitution was unofficially tolerated, regulated quietly rather than banned. Gambling houses thrived. Information was traded as carefully as goods. A rumor overheard in a tavern could make or break a merchant by morning. Art flourished in this environment. Paintings filled homes, not just palaces. Portraits of merchants, city guards, and families replaced kings and saints. Even ordinary citizens could afford art. It was a city that celebrated itself, its success, its discipline, its control over chaos. But behind the pride lay anxiety. The year 1693 came during a time of international uncertainty. England and France were rising powers. Wars disrupted trade routes. Ships were lost to storms and pirates. Insurance claims mounted. A single bad season could ruin even a powerful trading house. Amsterdam's wealth was vast, but never guaranteed. For sailors boarding ships that year, the future was a gamble. Many would never return. Disease, shipwrecks, and violence claimed lives far from home. Their names were rarely remembered, even as the profits they earned built the city higher and richer. Women played complex roles in this world. Some managed businesses while husbands were at sea. Widows often inherited trading rights. Others survived on the margins, cleaning houses, selling food, or working in taverns. Amsterdam offered opportunity, but only to those strong enough to navigate its rules. By daylight, the city appeared calm, orderly, almost perfect. By night, it revealed its true nature, a living organism fueled by ambition, fear, and desire. Amsterdam in 1693 was not just a place, it was a system, a machine that turned risk into wealth and people into numbers. And yet, it endured. The canals still flowed, the ships still came, the bells still rang. Every generation believed it stood at the peak of greatness, unaware of what history would bring next. Amsterdam in 1693 was Europe's richest city, one of its most disciplined and one of its most dangerous, not because of chaos, but because of how carefully everything was controlled. It was a city that proved a powerful truth. When money moves the world, morality becomes negotiable. This was Amsterdam at the height of its power, beautiful, brutal, and unforgettable. If you enjoy seeing historical cities brought back to life through original maps and images, feel free to subscribe for more journeys into the past.